So I was like, I'm going to work on the part of myself that I can control that actually will help me attract what I'm looking for. And that was my energy, my inner world, my mindset, my habits, how I spoke, how I thought. All of those things I can control. And all of those things are a heavy impact in what you attract and who you attract into your life.
Hey, fivers, welcome back to another episode of the 5 Years to 40 podcast. This is your host, Anisha, and today we're sitting down with a very special guest. Her name is Miss Farrah Blakely. Farrah Blakely is a love coach and matchmaker for high achieving professionals who want it all when it comes to love. As an inspirational and empowering advocate for getting the love you deserve, Farrah knows the obstacles of attracting love all too well. Her self emotional empowerment method to remove emotional debris from past relationships gives people the ability to date on their own terms without feeling lost or chaotic while dating and navigating relationships. Farah coaches single men and women on how to awaken their radiance to experience the love they desire. She uses her highly intuitive skills and her love for science backed methods for attraction to guide her clients to their individual needs. With a master's degree in organizational leadership and certifications in life coaching, Reiki, attachment style fundamentals, and mindfulness, Farah created the SEE method, the C method, or the self emotional empowerment method. She uses this to teach her clients that they can experience connection, healing, and growth simultaneously so that they can have the best love ever. Let's welcome Farah to the couch.
Good morning, guys, and welcome to another episode of 5 Years to 40, the podcast and community dedicated to millennials who are talking, thinking, and taking tremendous steps towards a fascinating life. We like to keep our conversations around four pillar topics. We talk about our health, we talk about our relationships, we talk about our careers, and we talk about our finances. Today, however, we are talking about our relationships, and we're not just talking, we have an expert with us, Miss Farah Blakely. Farah, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for joining us this morning.
You're welcome.
Right, so guys, Farah is actually a love and empowerment coach. Farah, I'm just going to turn it over to you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, what got you started, and about your coaching business?
Absolutely. Thank you for allowing me to be here. So I got started on this with my own journey of dating after my divorce. So I was divorced at 30 something. It's been some years ago. It's been about 10 to 12 years ago. And I just didn't understand all these societal norms and these rules around dating and how you're supposed to date because it didn't work. I mean, it was a setup for failure, in my opinion. So I was like, I'm going to work on the part of myself that I can control that actually will help me attract what I'm looking for. And that was my energy, my inner world, my mindset, my habits, how I spoke, how I thought. All of those things I can control, and all of those things are a heavy impact in what you attract and who you attract into your life. So when I started doing that, that's when I started noticing the change. And that's when I realized, oh, this is how it really is. It's not all this other BS that they tell you. It's really how you align yourself to the energy of love, because love is an energy. So you must have that energy within. So judgments, worry, anxiousness, desperation, feeling like there's not enough men, not enough women, all of that is the opposite of love, and it pushes it away. So I'm also a matchmaker. So I do help men and women find love through setting them up on blind dates that would put them in the best opportunity for success. But yeah, that's a little bit of what I do and who I am.
Wonderful. That's very exciting. And I'm so proud of you for taking your own experience and making it into something that can help others. It's always important for us to be light for each other, because we all have something to give and to teach. And I appreciate that you have used your experience to help. Because in this moment, I know that my audience, as grown as we are, we need help when it comes to navigating relationships and managing our energy. That really resonated with me.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you told us a little bit about what led you to become a relationship coach, but what part of that job is the most rewarding thing for you?
Oh gosh, the most rewarding thing for me is when my clients get to the other side. Like when they have finally gotten to a place of like, I don't know what else to do. I feel like I've done all the right things, but I haven't gotten this. And they trust me to guide them on that journey. And they're on the other side, and they're like, oh my God, Farah, I figured it out. Like I did it. Like I met someone and I didn't even see it coming, and they're amazing, they're wonderful, or this is not the person I thought that I would have fallen in love with. That part is so rewarding because once you get it, you got it. Like you're good now because you have real life proof that, oh my God, this is what she's talking about.
Yeah. I love that. And I would hope that we all would get to that side one day when we're like, this is what it is. This is what she meant. You manage your energy and you don't chase, you basically just pull in the things and the people and the opportunities and places that you need because your energy is there.
Yes.
Whew, that's love heaven right there.
Yes.
But that leads right into the next question, because the thing is, as millennials, right, we're said to be the most connected generation that ever lived. We have devices in every room of our house. We have Alexa, we have Siri, we have things in our phones. We're always connected. There's research to say that everybody have at least 11 to 26 devices to keep us connected. So we're well connected, right? However, the stats are also showing in terms of adults, we have far more people that are single than previous generations, celibate, and people who are just having the hardest time meeting and keeping relationships. Even though we're so connected, meeting and keeping relationships that's about connection is on the fits. So what do you think? What's causing the disparity?
Honestly, I'll tell you, it's the lack of vulnerability that is practiced with the connecting of those devices. So with the device, there's no risk of being seen or being exposed or having to share your inner self, right? So with the devices, yes, we are very well connected with phones and iPads and all this other stuff, but there's no intimacy in that. And when it comes to dating, that part of it, that vulnerability, that openness is a skill that we have lost because being so connected to electronic devices, being able to connect to a person face to face in a conversation and allow that to grow over time. It's like right now it's too much for our nervous system. Like we freak out and we're like, what? Face-to-face conversation, questions? Oh no, abort. and that is the key part that grows. And when I talked about aligning your inner energy, that's the part right there that needs to be got, is being okay in that vulnerable space. And being vulnerable doesn't mean that you're automatically going to get hurt or rejected. That's the first thing people go to. What it means is you are open to the possibilities of something different. That's what vulnerable means. And so you cannot create that on an electronic device. It's impossible. So I think that's what the gap is.
Wow, that is so wonderfully put. The vulnerability. I could see that. Yeah, because it's hard to be vulnerable on a device. Like you're talking to the person and they might, somebody might say something on text and you're like, did he mean this or did he mean like what is he trying to say? Like so you're like 100 different scenarios going through your head. I'm like, okay, well maybe I should say this. And it is hard versus if you're talking to somebody face to face or even on the phone, like, and you can hear the tone and so for me, when it comes to personal relationships, when I'm getting into dating somebody, I'd rather talk to you on the phone or go with you somewhere and eat because I like to eat. Okay.
Yeah. Me too. Me too.
Then doing the texting, it's not for it just makes you feel like, what are they saying? Are they paying, like, are they giving you the attention right now? Are they doing something else? Are they texting three other girls while they're talking?
Yeah.
I guess it's hard to be vulnerable and break down your walls and tell people what's going on with you when you're on devices. So that actually explains it perfectly. So the other part of that question though was in terms of what you think would be a key ingredient for a fascinating relationships, would you say it would be that vulnerability or is there another?
Well, vulnerability is the starting point. So, like in my coaching, I always start with self-connection because if you can just master being vulnerable with yourself and connecting to your soul level, that innermost part of yourself that you hide and you protect, and sometimes you suppress it because when that truth comes to the surface, you don't want to deal with it, right? Because you don't want to put yourself out there. You don't want to have to tell people like, maybe this didn't work, that didn't work, I'm struggling with this. So we suppress that within ourselves. But if you can just master allowing within yourself for you to see yourself how you truly are, for you to talk to yourself in a loving, compassionate way, for you to think loving, compassionate thoughts about yourself and anything that goes on in your life, start right there. It becomes so much easier to do that with someone else and build from that. But a lot of times, because I ask my clients all the time, what is it your soul needs? Tell me what your soul is telling you. And they have no idea because they haven't spent that time in that intimacy with themselves to hear what their soul has to say.
Mm-hmm. I feel that. Yeah, that self thing, because it really is. It does start and end with you. The relationship you have with yourself is reflected in the relationships you have with others, and
absolutely, yeah.
You have to start within. Absolutely.
Yes.
It's funny you mentioned that, but what I've found, a lot of people are really uncomfortable with spending time on with themselves and to find those big things. What do you think might cause that?
I think we have become a world that is we seek distractions, right? Because it's so easy to find a distraction. You've got Netflix, Hulu, your phone, YouTube. You've got all these distractions. It's like, I don't have to spend time with myself. I can go find the answer if I Google it. So, but you cannot Google a connection to God. You cannot Google a connection to source or angels, whatever it is you believe in that's outside of yourself. And you are of that bigger thing. You are of that. So there is no other way to connect to that divine intelligence. You have to do it. You have to go within. And sometimes that feels scary because it's this bigger thing outside of ourselves that, is a part of the universe and a part of the ether that, is like something you can't even fathom. But that is where your power is. When you can connect within your soul level to that divine intelligence, that's when the magic happens. So I always say, start with 3 minutes, just 3 minutes of sitting in quiet a day. You'd be surprised at the clarity that will come to you. Just 3 minutes. Turn off your phone, turn off your TV, turn off everything. It makes a huge difference. And I also think writing. If you were like, Farah, I just can't sit still for 3 minutes. Okay, write for 3 minutes. Just write for 3 minutes. That's another way to do it too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, guys, you see, this is a really easy way for us to connect with ourselves in as little as 3 minutes. You can take all your connection off, or somebody might say they need to put as an alarm for 3 minutes. Okay, fine. Set your phone aside, put a 3 minute alarm on your phone. Do that and just sit in quiet and like listen to the things that's going on around you, or to the birds, to the trees, whatever.
Yes. Yeah. Listen to nature. Absolutely. Listen to the water. Absolutely. You'd be surprised at the clarity that can come through in 3 minutes of silence or 3 minutes of writing. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I'm a huge journal advocate, and I'm telling you, it takes a lot of stuff out, Farah. So I appreciate you saying that. So, future bae, I hope you're doing the 3 minutes. Do the 3 minutes for your future bae. So you can get okay. So moving on, right, to the next question. From your experience, with your matchmaking and persons who are becoming more empowered through the learning more about their energy, what would you think is the greatest struggles singles face when it comes to creating loving and fascinating relationships? Because we're all about fascinating on this channel.
The biggest struggle, I think the biggest struggle is confidence or lack of confidence, because you are either going to deal with rejection on some level, right? That's a part of the process. And that's the part of the process of life in general. There is some element that we define as rejection, not, being ghosted, someone saying, oh, I don't think this is going to work, you having to tell someone this is not going to work, or you ghosting someone. That is a level of rejection, and we are all uncomfortable with it. So to avoid that, we just avoid the process altogether. And that doesn't get you to your destination of finding the partner that you want. So I say it's lack of confidence, because it takes confidence to go through the process, the confidence to trust the process, confidence to realize every single person that you run into, you don't need them to like you. You don't. And it's okay to feel that way.
That part. Wow.
Yeah. Yes. And it's okay to feel confident in your values for what you want to live by, so that when you meet people and they don't line up to those values, it's okay to let them go. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. There's no guilt or shame in that. And I think that's the biggest struggle.
Right. Yeah. That would explain a lot, actually. Yeah. Thank you for sharing this. I mean, this is huge for us. But it's just, and so many things can kind of undermine, kind of wear away at your confidence. And I guess it goes back earlier to what you talked about, having enough compassion and all that for yourself to always kind of bolster yourself back up there. Because sometimes you have a lot going on, and little things kind of chip out your confidence, and then it makes other things start getting messed up as well. So I guess if we are aware of it, based on what you're saying, now that we're aware of it, we can, pay attention and do the remedial work.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And when things don't, line up or, fall in your favor, you immediately think it's you. Oh, I'm doing something wrong. I'm stupid. I'm not enough of this. I'm not enough of that. It's all these things in your mental, you start knocking yourself down for, when really that doesn't even line up to your value system. Maybe it lined up to your ideal picture you had in your head, but does that line up to your value system? Those are two different things. Your value system, that's what creates long-lasting relationships, not that ideal picture all the time.
I love that. That sounds like something that should be on a meme. Like, it's your value system. It's not the other fluffy stuff.
Yeah.
It matters for you, what you resonate with. That's important. Thank you for sharing that. So we're getting to a very interesting part, guys. So I would have come across Farah's page and I saw a video she did explaining about how uh, love is like making oatmeal. I'm gonna let her explain it, but when I saw it's just like mind blown. This explains so much about how people could, relate to better relationships. And all from learning, all from making oatmeal. So I want you to tell us a little bit more of that. I'm sure the audience will be as thrilled as I am, but yeah, if you can tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, sure. So me and my partner have been together for quite some time, and something as simple as making oatmeal, because that's a very simple thing. Like you wouldn't think anything of it. But a lot of judgment can go into food choices and how you prepare food that can create something bigger than what it needs to be. So one morning, we both consider ourselves oatmeal connoisseurs. Like I love oatmeal. It's my favorite way to have breakfast, and same for him. But we do it very differently. So one morning I'm making oatmeal and he's making oatmeal. I use almond coconut milk for my oatmeal. He boils water in a teapot. He uses butter in his oatmeal, which I think is disgusting. I use cinnamon and fresh fruit, which he thinks is disgusting. So as we're going through our ritual of making our oatmeals in the same kitchen, I feel his judgment as he's looking at like, what are you doing? And he feels my judgment as I'm looking at him like, what are you doing? Butter in your oatmeal? That's disgusting. And I realized in that moment, this can turn very bad very quickly. If I was to start judging him and shooting questions at him and accusing him of not knowing what he's doing simply because he's doing something differently, and vice versa. So I decided in that moment, I'm going to lead with curiosity. And I'm just going to ask, simply because I want to understand, what makes putting butter in your oatmeal a good idea? Like, does it help with the taste? And he's like, well, for me, I add butter in my oatmeal because I'm trying to keep my calorie count up for weightlifting. He likes to work out and do all those things. Right. I would have never considered that was a reason for adding butter to your oatmeal. Because to me, what the hell are you doing? Who does that? Like nobody does that. But he had a very solid reason for why he was doing what he was doing. If I had reacted with judgment or accusation, that could have went real left real quick. And so he then turned around to me. He was like, well, why do you use coconut almond milk for your oatmeal? Like, does it do something different? And I was like, well, it makes it creamier and easier for me to digest, and regular milk makes my stomach hurt. He was like, oh, I didn't know that. I was like, yeah. So that is what we're all trying to do when we're trying to find love, right? We're meeting people, we're dating, and as we're getting to know them, they are trying to do the same thing we're trying to do. They're trying to get to the destination of finding their ideal partner, just like you. But they may go about it differently. They may have different thoughts about it. There may be a solid reason why they do what they do that you will never, ever come up with on your own. Even you could try all day, you'd never come up with why they're doing it the way they're doing it until you lead from a place of curiosity and compassion to understand. That's the only way you can keep moving towards your destination of finding your ideal partner. So a lot of times we get in that judgment energy and we think we're right because I'm the oatmeal connoisseur. I make this every day. I know what I'm doing. I know what he's doing. And it goes downhill from there.
Yeah, it is good for oatmeal and it's good for life. And I'm telling you, in the Caribbean, we do it even different because we would boil the oatmeal in the pan. We start with some cinnamon and bay leaf in the water.
The bay leaf? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, because we like everything with spice. So we put in and bay leaf and nutmeg in there, let it simmer, and then put in the oatmeal, and then add in like condensed milk and other stuff, and mix it from there. So yeah, that's
Wow.
another version. But to get to the point of what you're trying to say, of what you said so clearly, Farah, is that it's so important for us not to be in judgment and to be curious about what somebody's really trying to get to, as long as we understand that we still going towards the same end goal. The end goal for you both was to make oatmeal. You both wanted to have some
Yeah, we wanted a good breakfast, like something nutritional that stick to our stomach and feel good. Same thing with dating. You're both trying to get to a long-term relationship or love or marriage or whatever it is. But you know, how someone does something has nothing to do with you. It's all about, you know, how they understand and interpret data and information, and then how that plays out in their life. So
yeah. And what is beautiful about what you just explained is that it comes and it ties back exactly to what you said earlier. Because once you see that the end goal, how the person approaches the end goal, you look at your values. Is this something you can live with? Can you live with having butter in oatmeal? Okay, yeah, I can. Okay, so we can continue. It's not violating your values.
right, exactly.
Values. Versus if you see somebody's going towards the end goal that you know, I can't do, you know, putting this, I can't deal with it. Then you know, okay, I can be compassionate here. I can be confident, and I could say, maybe we should, you know, do something else than to stay and judge and start piling on guilt and shame. Guilt and shame, though. Guilt and shame, man, those things really ruin relationships, and they ruin your confidence as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Pointing it out, it really does ruin your confidence. And yeah, I guess it all ties into everything that you shared with us earlier. I am so thrilled that we got to have this conversation, and I thank you so much for taking the time to come here and sit with us and let our grown folk audience know a little bit more about how to get this love thing going, because the statistics are saying that we're single as ever. There's so much of us out here and we're single, but it could just be that we just need to understand the oatmeal game a little better, how to not judge, how to be more compassionate, how to understand our values, how to, like you said, learn energy and empowerment from it. So Farah, if our listeners are interested in connecting with you and having your business help to guide them through the dating experience, how are we able to reach you?
So they can find me on my website at farahblakely.com. And then they can also find me on Instagram at FB_empowerment. And in the bio, there is a link that they can click on if they want a free love consult. I have a free download for the best way to date to attract love. And then if they're interested in matchmaking, they could, there's also a link for that too. So yeah.
That is awesome. We get a ton load of freebies, and that will all be in the description for this episode, of course. So you guys, and in the show notes, if you're listening to this on audio, it's in the show notes, so don't worry. But yeah, thank you. This is a very loving gift from you, Farah.
You're welcome. I'm so glad you invited me here. Thank you.
Very welcome. And we look forward to maybe, hopefully we can do this again sometime. We can get into other details and we could, you know, share other lessons. But I do appreciate you taking your time. I appreciate, and I wish you all the best for your work. I think you're doing amazing work, especially for our community. We need that.
Same to you. Absolutely. I'm so glad that you're doing this and in a podcast platform where we can be seen. I love that you do it on YouTube so that we, you know, people can see, you know, all these versions of beautiful brown people doing these different things to help others. So it's an amazing platform you have.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much.
Yeah.
All right, my dear. Well, enjoy your outdoor Saturday after the cold week you've had, and do something fun, okay?
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
All right, take care.
You too.
All the best. Bye.